Bani abroad. So many of you were asking me about the difference between UK and Canada. And finally, we do have a guest here, Abhishek, and he'll be shedding light into what happens in UK about everything from studies to living costs, and I'll be shedding light on the Canada portion. So let's get started and welcome my guest, Abhishek.
Yes, sure, Bani. My name is Abhishek Singh, and I come from a village in Rajasthan that's called Chambal, and I'm an undergraduate in mechanical engineering. With that, I hold 2 years of experience in retail, and while working in retail, I kind of realized, my focus should be towards project management, and I've come over here in London. I'm studying currently in Kingston University. My course name is Projects in System Management. It's a 2 year course. Basically it's 1 year, but 1 year with internship, that makes it 2 years. Currently I'm working as a project analyst with a company called Seed as well as a part-timer.
Thank you for the introduction, Abhishek. And regarding myself, so I did my engineering back in India, specifically electronics and communication. And in Canada, I studied Master of Management from the Schulich School of Business. Let's dwell into the questions now. So the first segment is going to be about the universities. So Abhishek, first thing I would like to ask is that in Canada, a lot of colleges have mushroomed up. There are of course universities, but then there is a lot of trend of colleges in London, in UK. Do you see colleges, or is it more of a university focused country?
Well, thanks for the question, Bani. And yeah, there are few colleges like King's College is there, London College is there, but basically, if you talk about UK, it's made up for universities, I reckon, because there are more than 129 universities across the London, or I would say, or nearby London. So I would say that there's no such trend of colleges, but yeah, London or like UK is made up for universities.
Okay, so not much focus on colleges. Now coming to scholarships. So I know that in Canada there are not as many scholarships as are in the US, because in Canada the thing is that universities are limited, so there's no competition between them to grab the talent. But I would like to know about scholarships in the UK.
Scholarships, because I'm a postgrad student, so I can probably talk about my like admission thing. There have been people who have secured more than 75 or 80%, or who are the top of their universities are able to get scholarships around 10 to 15% or 20%, sometimes 40% as well, depending on the academics that they have, the sort of academics that they have.
Okay, that's nice to hear about the scholarships. And since we are talking about money, I would like to know about the tuition fees there. So, what's the range that a person would have to pay per year if they have to study in the UK?
To be like, for my university, Kingston University, London, my university has charged me approximately 14,500 pound. That means that basically makes around 14 lakhs. But there are few colleges like all the Ivy League and prestigious colleges like Oxford and Cambridge. They charge around 55,000 pounds, like 50 lakhs, 55 lakhs for the same course. So a lot depends on the course as well. But if you talk about the colleges which are there in the Russell group, or which are colleges which doesn't hold that value, but you just want to pursue course, I guess, I believe like 16 to 20 lakhs will be enough for your tuition fees.
Is that for 1 year or is that for the entire degree?
Yeah, entire degree, it'll be for the entire degree. But if you are like proficient enough in your course, or if you are able to grab some opportunity, then it'll be 2 years. They won't charge much, they'll charge some extra 1 lakh for the next year, and your 1 year will be the entire internship. So you'll not have to do much with the college, you'll have to work with the company itself. So yeah, that's for 2 years.
Oh, and the internship is paid, right? So you can earn money while you're still officially in the university.
Yeah, internship, it depends. Sometimes you get unpaid, sometimes you get paid, because what happens is, when you there are few of the individuals who came from India and they pursued their undergrad, and without having any experience they come for doing the masters, and they expect to get the paid internships. That's probably like naive, I guess, for the employer to hire them. So what they do is they start from the unpaid for 3 4 months, then they test their skills, and they test their, temperament, how they are able to perform over the time, then they'll start paying them. But mostly you will get the paid internship. But before that, let me tell you one thing: it is tough to get a paid or unpaid, both sort of internships in UK.
So, Abhishek, this was about what we have to pay to the university. Now, the question comes, how much money can students earn through part-time jobs so that they can at least sustain their living expenses, and also if they can earn something more. So I would like to know more about that.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Bani, once again. And part time, like you can work as 20 hours per week with your college, and when you get some holidays like Easter holidays or like Christmas holidays are there, then you are allowed to work 40 hours in a week. Wages are like £8 per hour or £9 per hour, and that's how you can earn. And getting part-time job is pretty much easy in London. If you are like persistent enough, you can easily get into McD's, KFC's, cab services are there, a lot of local restaurants are there, and security jobs are also there, controller jobs are there. There are some jobs where license-based jobs are there, transportation jobs are there. So there's so many part-time jobs, but you need to look at it wisely. I've seen people who came for like 6 months and they didn't get a part-time job. So, and I have seen people, they are finding part-time jobs like anything. So it depends on you as well.
So regarding the part-time system, I think it's pretty much similar in Canada. Here also you can work 20 hours per week, and when you have holidays you can work 40 hours, so that's good. And apart from that, the hourly wage here is different. Like in Ontario it's 14.60, and in some other provinces it would be more or it would be less, so it depends on the region. Enough about the university. Now comes the question, what actually do you have to pay for 1 month for your living expenses, and can you even manage those if you are working part-time? So what about that, Abhishek?
I believe like you can easily manage it when you have a part-time job, because your university is not gonna be on day-to-day basis. You'll be hardly call around 1.5 week within a month, so you'll be having a lot of time to go for a part-time job, and you can easily make up your living. Because and talking about the expenses, if you're living in a like very posh and very luxurious areas, it'll cost you around a lakh and a half for like your accommodation for a month. But if you look living in areas which are like pretty like little away from your universities and which are full of other people, and let's say some Indian societies, like I'm staying in Hounslow, where you can easily survive within 50,000 or 55,000, let's just say 500 or 600 pounds, including transport. But at the same point of time, it depends on you how much you want to manage.
Yeah, totally. But we'll consider that a student is smart about his or her expenses and they are saving on the money and they are living a middle class sort of a life. So here in Canada, the rent can range anywhere from $350 to $1,000 and even more. Like there's no upper limit, but I'm just telling from a student perspective. So the average would be around $600 per month, but there are obviously cheaper accommodations available if you are sharing with people. But if you want your own room, then obviously it will be more expensive. And the monthly expense can be anywhere from between $600 to $1,300 Canadian dollars. This I'm talking about. So this is entirely up to you, as Abhishek mentioned, if you want to be on the lower spectrum or on the upper one. So Abhishek, in UK, you mentioned about the rent, but holistically speaking about everything, like all the living costs covered, miscellaneous charges, everything. So what would the cost look like for 1 month?
650 to 700 pounds max to max. An average person would at least say 65 to 1000 to 70,000 will be enough for an average person.
Okay, so since you mentioned it's around 500 to 600 pounds for the housing, so is the grocery cheap there? Because you mentioned the average can be like just $700, 700 pounds, sorry.
Yeah, so groceries are pretty cheap. Like I guess if you are like if you want to eat a healthy food, I'll say like within 100 pound you can get it done for a month. And if you're not eating, because 100 pound is basically more than enough for a person, for an individual, and including 50 pounds for the transport, so, and 150 for some other things that you want to do.
So holistically, the range in UK would be around 600 pounds to 1,000 pounds. So on an average, like what's the time span that a person takes to land a job? Is it like 1 month? Is it 6 months? Is it 1 year?
But I would say like 6 to 7 months if you want a decent or good job. If you have work experience, then it'll be 4 months will be enough for you. 4 or 5 months if you have a decent experience related to that firm. And if you have some okay experience, let's just say 1 or 2 years, then it'll take around 7 to 8 months, because you'll have to look at everything very meticulously. But if you don't have experience, I'll probably recommend start from day one and start meeting people, start networking with people on social networking sites and everywhere. wherever you can find.
Yeah, networking is really important. The thing is that 80% of the jobs are not even advertised. So, unless you are talking to the person who has that hidden opportunity, you won't even get to know about that. For the time span here in Canada, it also varies from person to person. Some people get it within 1 month as well, but the average, I would say, it usually takes around 3 to 6 months. But for some people, it also takes about 1 year. And one thing regarding the experience, as Abhishek mentioned, in London, it's more of like if you have experience, then you'll get a job quickly. In Canada, I would say that if you have experience, obviously that is an advantage, especially in this COVID time. But for that also, some people, even with the experience, do not land up jobs like right after they come here or right after 1 or 2 months. So it takes time. So now, since we are talking about the jobs, let's see what's the ROI. You spend so much on tuition fees, and now what's the salary that you will get in return? So Abhishek, what is like the average range?
Talking about like jobs and salaries, like I would probably say like for every job they have this basic salary starting from 30 or 35k, 35,000 pounds, which is basically like 30 lakhs or 35 lakhs. But yeah, you can see some drastic improvement quickly in your salary, because as soon you are like, technically sound and you are making them happier by your work, they are happy to, increase whenever they want. So static and basic salary is like, 30,000 and 35,000 pounds for everything.
So in Canada, for the corporate sector, the starting salary is around $40,000 Canadian dollars, and then obviously there's no upper limit in the sense that you can earn 70,000 Canadian dollars. You can even earn $100,000 based on your experience and your qualifications. Okay, so we have talked about the education, we have talked about the money that you require to sustain yourself there. Now comes the most crucial question, which will be the make or the break factor when you are considering of applying either to Canada or the UK. And the question is, will you be allowed to stay in that country? So this was about it. And if you have any more queries regarding Canada or regarding London, hit those queries in the comment box, and Abhishek and I'll make sure that we respond to those. And Abhishek was humble enough not to introduce one another aspect of his life, but he's very active on Instagram and he take interviews about different people and how they grew up to be major successes in life. So I'll put the link here and you can check his profile and you can contact him regarding any queries that you might have about London.
Thank you, Bani. Thank you for having me on this chat. It's really pleasure to have you over here, and it is amazing to like, have you on the other side and getting the insight about Canada. She has started her own consulting services, and she is helping people moving Canada. So those who are having queries related to the like, shifting to Canada can directly drop her message. She'll be happy to help, and that's all. You can ask her anything. She knows a lot of things about Canada.
Thank you, Abhishek, so much. And yes, if you like this video, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button and like the video and also press that bell icon.
Thank you, Bani. Thank you for having me.